Hey everybody, what's going on? This is Travis with ThinkKnowLive.Media coming at you on a Tuesday. And this is one I gotta be honest with you, I'm not looking forward to this one. Motivation Mondays are nice because it's all about just motivating and inspiring and that sort of thing. But today I'm calling Tuesdays Triggered Tuesdays. I want to take a topic that's a hot topic, that's a heated topic, a subject that's argued about, and see if we can bring something a little bit more substantial to the conversation. Again, the three imperatives of ThinkKnowLive.Media is to think clearly, know truly, and live fully. And today I want you to think clearly. I'm asking that you think clearly. This is one of those conversations that elicits and exposes some pretty raw nerves and emotions for a whole host of reasons. And let me say again at the outset, that this is a subject, this is a topic, this is a discussion that needs to be handled with compassion and with care, no matter what side of the aisle you're on. And I hate that we have to refer to it that way, but all sides have some blame in how they handle this conversation. And I've been just praying this morning on my own attitude, but I really wanted to just come at it from a very logical, just reason-based standpoint, because there's something that's just been kind of nagging at my mind when it comes to this conversation of abortion and the pro-life movement, both of those. And let me give a little bit of the backstory. So again, as I just mentioned, there's something that's just freshly nagging at me that I've been questioning, I've been wondering, I've been trying to say, okay, let me think about this. Let me think clearly. Let me be in this exercise with you, this thought exercise with you, and do what it is I'm asking you to do. So again, the backstory is it was a few weeks ago. There was the conversations going back and forth, personal ones, also obviously the talking heads on the news, the different articles that are coming across on social media and those sort of things. And I'm asking, okay, fundamentally, let me take a look at this. And so when I began to look at those on the side of abortion, there's another phrase that's used for it, and it's the one that's the more popular one, and it is being pro-choice. So you have pro-choice and pro-life. And so I began to just ask myself, I said, okay, let me just act like I know nothing about this conversation. When somebody says they're pro-choice, what does that mean? So I began to ask some friends and those that believe differently than I do. And I listen across the different multiple streams of media, whether it was news or social media and things of that nature. And what I began to see, what I continued to see, there was nothing new here, but it was just refreshed in my mind, is the consensus that when someone says they're pro-choice, that means they are for the woman's right to choose. And I said, okay, again, on the surface, okay, but there's an obvious question that follows that up is, what does one mean by a woman's right to choose? Like, to choose what? And again, that answer is, there's nothing new there. There's a consensus on what this answer is. But it's that a woman should have a right to choose or have choices over what happens to her body. And I began to think about that and just kind of process. And there was this little nagging flag there that I just couldn't put away so easily. And I started to think, okay, well, what is this? Is it a yellow flag? Is it a red one? Is there something really important here to bring out? Or is it just a completely different worldview? And I started to think about it, and here's my question, or here's my challenge, and it'll come in the form of a few statements and a question. Again, it's initiating some dialogue between myself and you, whoever is seeing and watching this. And I'd love to have your feedback here, because here's what challenges me. And I'm just talking, set aside for a moment the emotions. I just want you to think clearly and answer this for yourself. What I'm about to ask you, don't just parrot what somebody else has told you. And I mean this on both sides of the conversation. It bores me, and it embarrasses me sometimes, what the dialogue I see on all sides of this. But here it is. So when I think about pro-choice, when I think about that it's a woman's right to choose, and that what we mean ultimately is that a woman has a right to choose and has the power of choice over her own body. My question is, how is that an argument at all or in any way for the actual conversation of what happens, what we do with that whether you want to call it a fetus, a child, a person, a human, whatever. For a moment, we can set that aside as well. I really am trying to be fair to both sides here in this conversation. Whatever you decide to call that for a moment, how is the pro-choice, the fundamental stance of the pro-choice movement, again, that a woman should have an exercise choice over what happens to her own body, how does that have anything to do with what happens to that life inside her? Now, what do I mean? Pay attention now, because I want you to think clearly and give a good, clear answer that you're saying for yourself and not, again, parroting someone else. What I'm saying very simply, is that while I can agree that a woman has the power to make choices over what happens to her own body, the problem is, logically, scientifically, and in every way, shape, and form, that body that's inside, that life that's inside that woman is not her body. It's just not. Scientifically, at every level, at every conceivable level, molecular, whether you're talking about DNA, whether you're talking about neurologically, whether you're talking about, the arms, the legs, whatever, all the different components that makes up that life, it is a completely unique and distinct body. It is I don't know how else to say it. It is a unique body. Now, I would go so far as to say it's a unique mind, and I'm not alone in that. And of course, in my worldview, I would say there's a unique and distinct spirit and soul attached to that as well, or that's a part of that. But I don't need those to be a part of the conversation. Let's just stick with the body. That body that's inside that mother is not hers. So if that's the case, now think clearly, just help me out here. Help me see where I'm either wrong, or maybe give, why you would agree with this, or disagree, of course. But if that life that's inside her, call it what you will, has its own distinct body, then what does it have to do at all with the woman's right to choose what happens to her own body? Because the bodies are different. I hope that's clear. I don't know how I can make it more clear. Both of them are unique. Now, I will not take away from the fact that it is the woman's body that is nourishing that other body that's inside her, but that body is not her own. The DNA, the blood type, all of those things are uniquely different from the mother. So how is the fundamental stance, like the sentence, the all-encompassing arch explanation, the fundamental stance about pro-choice and the wording behind it and all that how does it have anything to do at all with the actual abortion conversation? So listen, that's the question that I have to you. I ask this respectfully. I don't ask this with any ill intent or with any arrogance. I'm in this thought exercise with you. I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Love to hear them. I'd be interested on input on all sides of this conversation. But let's keep it in this conversation. The emotions of the other aspects of this are just as important. They're just as valid. But I'm trying to make this video as short as I can. It's just one simple question. Is how does the fundamental stance of the pro-choice movement, that being, in their own words, that a woman has the right to choose and has the power of choice over her own body, how does that have anything to do with the body that's inside her, the distinct and unique body that's inside her? Are those things different? I think I've already made the case for why I think so. And I'm not really even making my case. I'm just speaking to the science behind it. But I am curious to hear your thoughts. Again, it's Travis with ThinkKnowLive.Media. Let's keep the comments clean and let's think clearly. I'm not interested in anybody going back and forth and going at each other's throats. Listen, you're better than that. You're better than that. And this world deserves better thinking than just emotional thinking. Those are important. Emotions are vital. But keep your emotions in check. And let's just think clearly. I'm curious as to your thoughts. Discuss it in the comment section below. We'll see you next time.